What happens when some of the biggest names in music want to play the biggest stages in the world and the door is locked? You build your own stage. Modern music festivals have evolved into tightly controlled ecosystems. These massive stages cater to a curated elite, leaving very little room for any artist who fails to meet the specific digital metrics of the moment. In 2024, the cracks in this system became visible. Lil Wayne, a generational artist with decades of hits, publicly pointed out that he was being entirely overlooked by major festival bookers like Coachella. When a multi-platinum artist finds themselves boxed out of the summer's biggest shows, it reveals the festival circuit as a restrictive VIP club, where entry is determined by industry connections rather than cultural impact. The reason for this lockout comes down to how these lineups are built.
Promoters rely on algorithmic curation, scanning streaming data and viral trends to book the safe names that guarantee predictable ticket sales. This animation shows how that curation creates a massive bottleneck. When you filter hundreds of diverse, genre-defying artists through a risk-averse, data-driven funnel, only a narrow, uniform type of act makes it to the stage. This data-first approach strips away the raw, gritty experience that made live music festivals so culturally significant in the first place. Dedicated music fans notice the repetition. They look at the posters year after year, see the same headliners recycled across different cities, and feel disconnected from the live music circuit. These major festivals have moved away from being cultural tastemakers. They now function as risk-averse corporate portfolios, maximizing a safe return. Someone who recognized this exact frustration decided to do something about it. That person was Fred Durst. Durst knows exactly how it feels to be rejected by the critical elite. Even at the peak of Limp Bizkit's success in the early 2000s, his style was largely dismissed by the traditional music establishment. He built his career by embracing the role of the outsider. When Lil Wayne aired his grievances, Durst responded. He revealed he had been quietly developing a specific, targeted concept, a new live space designed for overlooked talent. He called the project The Uninvited. Durst designed it as an ideological sanctuary, a specific counterweight to the glossy, corporate-led summer circuits. Because Durst built his legacy on anti-establishment energy, he has the cultural capital needed to rally rejected artists and frustrated fans under one unified banner. The curation process for The Uninvited relies entirely on bypass. If an artist regularly headlines the traditional corporate summer circuit, they are not on the list. This diagram compares the two models. Traditional festivals use a top-heavy structure, spending the majority of their budget on 2 or 3 megastars. Durst's proposal replaces that with an interconnected web, spreading the investment across a variety of acts. It unites hip-hop legends, heavy metal veterans, and obscure alternative acts on the same stage. These performers are united by a common history of being sidelined by major promoters. This mix of genres creates a visceral connection with fans, who feel just as overlooked as the performers themselves. The Uninvited functions as an alternative infrastructure. It's a way to build a massive live music event without ever asking the established gatekeepers for permission. While this reads like a cultural protest, it carries serious financial weight. It creates a direct pipeline between suppressed talent and a vast unmet consumer demand. Look at this area graph tracking live music audiences. The line from mainstream ticket sales is largely stagnant. But this expanding area underneath represents the pool of fans who currently refuse to spend their money within the traditional ecosystem. If a single event successfully organizes and siphons off this untapped audience, the established mega festivals stand to lose millions in potential revenue. By turning a cultural grievance into a scalable business model, Durst has created a tangible economic threat to the promoters who currently run the industry. This sets up a test for the live music business. What happens to the global standard if a festival built entirely out of rejects becomes the highest grossing event of the year? If a festival of outcasts captures more market share than a high-budget corporate event, it exposes a massive inefficiency in current booking strategies. A profit margin of this scale would provide the first real-world evidence that raw, organic demand can outperform safe, data-driven lineups, which leaves a choice for the audience. You have to decide whether to keep buying into the safe, repetitive loop or put your money behind the counterculture. The stage is set. Are you ready to watch the uninvited outsiders finally tear down the gates?